Hey, hello guys. In this video, we are going to see about user input. In our last class, we have seen about casting. I hope you understand casting. Now let's see about user input. To see user input, let's create a new file and let's give a name like user input.py. Press enter and save it. Now let's see what is user input. Before saying user input, let me give a small explanation about user input. For example, if we need to print 10, what we can do? We used to create a variable name a and we can give the value 10 and we just print a. So the value stored in a like 10, it will print 10. Like I will show you. A equal to 10 and print a and we get the output as 10. Yeah, we get the output as 10. It is basically common. But what we can do in user input? First of all, what is user input? User input is nothing but asking an input from the user after the program has run. For example, here we have given the value as 10 in the beginning of the code itself. But is there any possible way that we can give the input after the code has run? So that is called user input. So now let's see user input clearly in programming. So let me erase this code. So now let's create a variable name a, and instead of giving a value 10, let me give input and open bracket, then print a. Now let's run the code and see what happens. Now what happens here? Nothing, because the program is simply standing and there is no output, because the program is asking an input from the user. Hey user, give me some input so that I can print. So we need to give some input like, let me give Python programming. Now the program is standing in the first line, a equal to input. So the program is asking us, give me an input. So we are giving an input like Python programming. Now let's press enter. We get the output as Python programming. So let me explain one more time what happens here. First of all, while implementing the user input, the program asks us, hey, give me some input for a. So we are giving an input name Python programming. So this Python program is going to save inside a, and while printing a, we get the Python programming as output. So this is what user input in Python programming. So I hope you understand the user input properly. But if you didn't understand also, there's no problem. We are going to do many examples so that you can understand user input properly. User input is one of the most important thing in every programming language, not only in Python and whatever the programming language may be. User input plays a greater role even in competitive questions and problem solving questions and whatever it may. User input plays a great role. So let's see user input clearly so that you can understand properly. Let's do user input with some other examples now. Now let the code remain same. Okay. Now let's make some alterations in this code. Like we can take one more variable, b equal to input and open bracket, c equal to a plus b. Now let's print c. Print it. Now also the program doesn't give any output because the program is standing in the first line itself. Hey user, give me an input for a. So now let's give a input like hello and press enter. Now the program is also the program not running. Because why? Because the reason is now the program is asking, hey user, give me an input for b, because we have given input for b also. So we need to give an input for b also. Let's give like world. Hello world. Now let's print it. Now we get the output as hello world. Now what happens here? Let me explain this. First we print the program. The program asks us, hey user, give me input for a. So we give the input like hello. And secondly, it asks an input from the user like, hey user, give me input for b. Now we give the input like world. So hello world. C equal to a plus b. Hello plus world. So hello world. So the C prints hello world. Simply it is done. So this is how user input works. And there are some more things you need to know about user input. Now, till now we are using user input to print two strings only. Now, let us do some operations like, let us add two numbers like 10 plus 5 equal to 15 with the help of user input. Okay, fine. Let's print the code. Okay. the program is asking for input. Let's give the value as 10 and value as 5. So let's see what is the output. Actually, what happens here? Why the program give output as 105? Actually, I have given a number like 10 and another number as 5. So while adding two numbers, I need to get an output as 15. 10 plus 5 equal to 15. So why did I get 105? Because this A is a string. Whenever we get the input from the user, it will be always be a string. See, the variable type is a string. A is also a string and B is also a string. So while adding two strings, it will be just printing the values side by side. First it will be printing 10 and next it will be printing 5. So similarly, I will tell this at another example, like let's print like 5, then 6. It won't give the answer like 11, it will give like 56. Literally simple, it is just printing the variables side by side. But I need to add two integers like 5 plus 5 equal to 10, 10 plus 10 equal to 20. So how can I do that? For that only, we need to use another thing as int. Actually, the code is same, but we are going to add some things like, let me remove this input. And now let me type int. And inside a bracket, I open input and another open bracket. Similarly for B also, int, open bracket, input and open bracket. So the code is actually simple. Actually, the code is same. We add a simple thing int to convert a string into an integer. Similarly, whatever we give inside input, it will take as a string. By giving an int word, whatever the string may be, but the string is converted into an integer. Now let's run the code and let's give a number. So let's give a number 5 for A and another number like 7. Now let's run the code. So fine, we get the output as 12. Actually, it is really simple. The number 5 enters inside A as a string. With the help of the int keyword, the string converts into an integer. Similarly for B also, the number 7 enters inside as a string and converts into an integer. So after converting into an integer, we just add A plus B. So 5 plus 7 is equal to 12. It's really simple. Now, here is a small task for you. Pause the video and try it by yourself. Create 3 variables and get the user input as an integer and add those 3 values and see the output. It's really simple. Actually, we have done it with 2 variables and now you are going to try it with 3 variables. Pause the video and try it by yourself. So I hope you guys try out the task which I gave to you. Now let's see some of the basic operations with user input. So now let me erase this code and let us create a new operation like name, address and an age. So for that, let's create a new variable name. So name equal to input and open bracket. And let's create a variable name age equal to int input because age should be a number. After that, let's create variable like address. So address equal to input. Now let's print everything like print name and print age and followed by print address. Now the program is asking for input for the variable name. So now we need to give a name for the variable name. So let's give a name king, press enter, and let's say the age is 30 for the age variable. And now we need to print something for the variable address. So let's say the address like India. So now we get the output. So let's see. First the program prints the word king, followed by king it prints the word 30, and next it prints the address India. So we get the code properly and we get the output also. But still, even after printing everything separately, there are still that the code is not proper because we didn't know what is the first thing and the second thing and the third thing. So we need to make sure the first thing is the name and the second thing is the age of that certain person and the third one was his address. So to make that, we need to give something differently. So let's erase the words inside the print. Open a double underscore, type my name is, and after the double apostrophe, give a comma and type the variable name. Similarly, for age also, my age is, after the double apostrophe, give a comma and type the variable name age. Similarly, do it for address also. Open a double underscore, I am living in, and after the double underscore, give a comma and insert the value. Insert the variable address. So, okay, it's fine. Now, let's print the code. Now, let's give input for name King, and for age, we give 30, and for address, let's give India. Now, after the code is run, we get the output as my name is King, my age is 30, I am living in India. So, this is how we get a proper user input. I hope you understand the code properly, but still, there is one more thing we need to do. Actually, after running the code is simply standing. It is asking for input, but what kind of input should I give? Actually, we know that the first thing we need to give input as name, but for the user who is trying for the new, if he didn't know what he need to give input, he may make a mistake like instead of giving name, he would have given age. So, what should he do to avoid that? So let me shuffle and give the values. Like instead of giving name, I will give age. And instead of giving age, I will give a name. So let's see what happens here. Here comes a error, like invalid return for an int, because it is an int. We need to give an integer, but instead of giving an integer, I gave a name King. So obviously it needs to show error. So instead of giving an integer, I gave a string. So it is throwing an error. To avoid this, we are going to add one more thing. Inside the user input bracket, open a double apostrophe and type enter your name. Similarly, for age also, inside the input column, open a double apostrophe and type enter your age. Similarly, do it for address also. Once you have typed, just run the code. After run the code, it will show you enter your name so that you can enter King. After enter your age, you can enter whatever the age you need. I will let print 30. Then after that, enter your address. I'll print India. So after pressing enter, the final output comes. So it is like my name is King, my age is 30, I am living in India. By using a user input in this way, a user can understand what he need to print, like what he need to enter, whether he need to enter age or name or address. It will show it properly and gets the output clear. So this is how user input works in Python. So I hope you guys understand the user input concept very clearly. Write user input in different types of operations and tasks so that you can understand user input clearly. See you in the next video. Thank you.